Welcome to Boardroom Broadcasts, speaking with listed companies from around the world. You can stay up to date with all our content by visiting www.boardroombroadcasts.com and clicking on subscribe.
Today's guest is Chris McFadden, CEO of NxGold. Chris McFadden is a lawyer with over 25 years' experience in exploration and mining and is currently the president and CEO of NxGold Ltd, the chairman of NxGen Energy Ltd, and a director of ISO Energy Ltd. He was previously manager of business development at Newcrest Mining Limited, and before that was head of commercial strategy and corporate development for Tigers Realm Coal Limited. Prior to his time with Tigers Realm, he was a commercial GM at Rio Tinto Limited, where he had a career of 12 years spanning legal and commercial roles. Chris, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's quite a corporate story you have. How did your background lead you to getting involved with NxGold?
Good question. I started, obviously, in the mining industry many, many years ago, and was working in-house with Rio Tinto and eventually moved into commercial roles within Rio Tinto. So I was exposed to a wide range of commodities in numerous jurisdictions over a long period of time, and eventually ended up in a more entrepreneurial space, during which time myself and Lee Courier, who we'll talk about more as we go, started a company called NxGen Energy Limited, which was a uranium exploration junior based in Canada. NxGen had some extraordinary success in discovering the Arrow project. And along the journey of building that company over the last 7 or 8 years, we picked up a shell company through another transaction. And so we were sitting with a shell in our corporate structure that we didn't quite know what to do with, until a shareholder came to us and said that he was impressed with how we worked and how the company had achieved its success. And he mentioned he had a gold exploration project in Nunavut and was keen to explore possibilities of entering a transaction around that project. And so we put two and two together and created NxGold from that shell. We recapitalized it and called it NxGold and entered an agreement with that shareholder for what we now call the Cooloo project in Nunavut. And that was approximately 18 months ago. So it's been a long journey over many years in the mining business, where I've been involved in exploration and various commodities in numerous jurisdictions. So that's why we came to NxGold.
Okay, so that tells us a little bit about the origins of the organization, but what is the story of NxGold that you'd like to share with listeners today?
Well, we're a Vancouver-based junior gold explorer based on listed on the TSX venture. We have two projects, gold exploration, very early stage projects. One is in Nunavut, and that's the Cooloo project. And then we have the Mount Roe project, which is located in the Pilbara region of Western Australia. So you probably couldn't find two more diverse climates in which to operate. But in both cases, we're early stage gold exploration, and we're looking for high grade gold, large volume style deposits, which would lead to mining operations eventually, we hope.
Okay, so these two projects in Nunavut, Canada, and in Australia's Pilbara region at the top of Western Australia, these are classified as world-class districts. Can you provide a bit of information around that terminology and what makes them so interesting?
Sure. Well, I'll start with the Western Australian project and the Pilbara region. The Pilbara is home to the Australian iron ore industry, where majors such as Rio Tinto and BHP, as well as Fortescue Metals, produce huge volumes of iron ore for export to global markets, and in particular the Asian markets in China and Japan, South Korea, etc. So between those three main producers and various others, there's significant tonnages going out of the Pilbara each year, something in the order of 600 million tonnes or more of high quality iron ore. It's one of Australia's leading export earners. So the Pilbara over the last 50 or 60 years has become, I would say, perhaps the premier mining district in the world in terms of value of production and volume of material that's going out. And so there's a very mature and well-established mining industry in that area. There is significant infrastructure in terms of ports, rail, power generation, and an incredibly strong mining support sector in the area with drilling companies, exploration, logistics, transport, mining services, cleaning, etc. The list just goes on. And so it's a very well-established, highly successful area in which to be operating in. And so as a small explorer in this area, we're able to take advantage of this fantastic infrastructure and support services that are in the region. And we're located 30 kilometres south of a town called Karratha, which is a coastal town on the coast there. It has an airport that provides numerous daily flights to Perth, which is the capital of Western Australia. There's a big port there that iron ore is exported from by Rio Tinto. There's a major LNG processing plant there as well. So there's all the surrounding support services and infrastructure there, hospitals, schools, shops, accommodation, etc. That means that our project can be managed and operated from Karratha with a workforce that's available with services, and things are cheap there as a result because of the volume of material coming in there. So the Pilbara region is a fantastic place to operate. The only challenge is the hot summers that exist there, which is a good counterpoint to start talking about Nunavut in northern Canada, which is a similar story. It's not an area that at this stage produces such a huge wealth of mining product as the Pilbara, but we are located, our project area is about 40 kilometres to the northwest of a town called Rankin Inlet. And Rankin Inlet is on the western shores of Hudson Bay in Nunavut, but also that town is the epicentre of mining development in the area. And a company called Agnico Eagle has been operating at Meadowbank for a long period of time. That's about 80 kilometres from Rankin Inlet, and they're in the process of constructing a major operation at Meliadine Mine, which is between our project and Rankin Inlet. So there's an airport there that's serviced by jet planes from Winnipeg on a daily basis. There's a port there that operates in summer months. Again, because of the mining development and exploration activity in the area, there's a workforce, there are trained people, there are mining services groups there that are very keen to expand their operations with other companies. There's a community that's very keen to see training and employment for their youth. So again, it's an area that is supportive of mining and where exploration is able to be conducted because there are service providers there and workers and an understanding of how the industry works.
Are either of these projects taking precedence, or are they progressing at the same speed at this moment in time?
That's sort of a trick question because we'd like to think we're progressing both of them at the same time. However, we are stuck with the Kulu project in Nunavut in that we don't have the necessary surface license that we require from the local Inuit Association. We have a renewal that's outstanding that has slowed us down there somewhat. So in the absence of that license, we are working our project in the Pilbara at the moment, and we have people in the field there right now. So in terms of work on the ground, the Mount Roe project in Western Australia is progressing. Having said that, the Nunavut project has progressed to the point over the years that it has drill-ready targets. So we are ready to drill there. We're not quite ready to drill in the Pilbara at this stage. We need to do some more groundwork over the next 2 months. But following completion of that work by the end of this year, we will have drill targets, and so the two projects will be at a comparable stage of the exploration maturity.
Okay. And For the company, we know a little bit about your background. Can you tell us a bit about the experience of the rest of your management and board team?
Sure. I think one of the key members of any exploration team is the Vice President of Exploration, and our VPX is a gentleman called Darren Lindsay. And Darren is a highly experienced gold geologist. He has over 20 years of experience in mineral exploration across a number of continents. What I like about Darren and the value he brings to our team is that he's worked in both junior companies and major companies, and he's worked extensively in Canada and in Nunavut in particular, but he's worked for companies like BHP, Inmet, Miramar, and Kodiak Exploration. So he's worked in a number of companies at different stages on projects. He's had exploration success, and he's a very, very safe pair of hands. And our CFO, Janine Richardson, likewise, has over 30 years' experience in mining. She's been involved in the gold industry in particular, companies like Placidome, Alto Mining, and others. So again, vast experience and a very safe pair of hands.
You had mentioned...
In terms of the...
Sorry, go ahead.
So I was going to talk about the board.
Yes.
We have a very strong board, in my view. I've mentioned Lee Courier previously, who together we founded NextGen Energy. Lee has been in the mining industry again for an extended period of time. He is an accountant by background, but has been involved for a long time in very strategic roles. He was former CFO of Southern Cross Resources, which became Uranium One, and he's also been in the private equity business. He ran Accord Nuclear Resources, reviewing global uranium assets for First Reserve, and so has extensive experience in mining and in uranium in particular. We have Richard Patricio, who's a Toronto-based director, a very strategic thinker, very well connected in the Toronto capital markets, which has been very beneficial to us in raising money in Canada. Trevor Thiele is head of our audit committee. His experience has largely been in major Australian agribusiness companies like Elders. He's been involved in IPOs, capital raisings, corporate reorganisations, etc., and highly experienced. And finally, Carl Loftman, who is Perth-based. So we're covering Australia again here with Carl. Very strong experience in Australian capital markets, working in Perth, which has given him great experience with the junior miners in the Australian context.
Okay, excellent. So it sounds like there's a board with a lot of experience along with a management team. So outside of their experience, what makes you bullish on the offering of NxGold compared to the many opportunities that investors have within the mining space?
I think one of the areas that I would say to shareholders provides great opportunity is what we've got at Kulu in particular. That is directly adjacent to the Meliadine project owned by Agnico Eagle. And that's a very large, high-grade deposit that is soon to be in operation. We're directly up strike on the same structure as Meliadine. Same sort of rocks, fantastic soil anomalies, and really strong results in boulders at surface. Very high gold assays from those boulders, up beyond 400 grams a tonne in some cases. So what I'm seeing there is that once we gain access to that project, we've got significant exploration potential for a discovery there. With the Western Australian projects, it's one thing to keep in mind there is that we have nuggets at surface. You walk along with a metal detector and you can bend down and scrape with your fingers, basically, and pick out nuggets very close to surface. So where the potential we have there is to find the source of that gold. And that's what's exciting in the Western Australian project, is that we're already halfway there, if you like. We know we've got gold, and we've got as well as the nuggets, we've got visible gold in soil stream sediment sampling over an extended strike length. So the next step is to narrow those soil samples down and then use that with the geophysics we have and the mapping and our metal detecting to determine where exactly we're going to drill. And hopefully, fingers crossed and everything going right with a wet sail, we find the actual source of that gold that we're finding at surface.
Okay. And so what are some of the numbers for the company as it stands at the moment?
I think there's a few things that are important with that question. One is cash. We're currently funded. We have approximately $4 million of cash. We completed a capital raising in June that was very successful. So we have cash, and we're funded for the work that we want to do this year and into next. In terms of share structure, we have approximately 81 million shares outstanding. We have 47 million warrants. So fully diluted, we're about 135 million shares on a fully diluted basis. We have no debt on the balance sheet. We have cash. We have some other assets. We have some securities as well. So our total working capital is $4.5 to $5 million at this stage.
Okay, excellent. Now, before we finish up today, Chris, is there anything else that you'd like to add or mention that you've not had a chance to address yet?
Oh, look, I think I would just reiterate again that as an explorer, we would like to think we're on the cusp of making a discovery once we get drilling. And that's the exciting part of what we do. We take a very systematic approach to exploration. We've had success with NextGen with a world-class discovery there, and we're using the same methodology, the same discipline, where every dollar that we spend is justified by the past dollar that we've spent. We don't madly and blindly pursue exploration just for the sake of it. We're very much a results-driven and value-adding group that looks to enhance shareholder value. And we believe we have that potential there with these two projects.
Chris McFadden, thanks for your time today.
Excellent. Thank you.
This has been a production of BoardroomBroadcasts.com, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with all our content by visiting www.boardroombroadcasts.com and clicking on subscribe.